There are 5 retirement mistakes that almost no one talks about. And the uncomfortable truth is, most people don't realize they've made them until it's too late to easily fix them. If you're within 5, maybe 10 years of retirement, this is exactly the kind of conversation I wish I had earlier. Most people think retirement is simple: save consistently, invest wisely, pay off your house, and then one day, you stop working. That's the plan we're all taught. But what I've learned, and what many people discover the hard way, is that retirement isn't just about getting to the finish line. It's about what happens after you cross it. And the reason these mistakes are so dangerous is because they don't look like mistakes at first. They look like reasonable decisions, logical choices, things that seem fine in the moment, but compound over time. The first mistake is retiring too early. Now that might sound strange. Isn't retiring early the goal? In theory, yes. But here's the problem. When you retire early, you're not just adding a few extra years of leisure. You're adding years, sometimes decades, where your money needs to support you without new income. If you retire at 60 instead of 67, that's 7 more years your portfolio needs to last. 7 more years of withdrawals, 7 more years of inflation, and possibly 7 fewer years of Social Security growth. What most people don't fully appreciate is how sensitive retirement plans are to time. Even a small shift can dramatically change the outcome. Retiring earlier means less time contributing, more time withdrawing, and more exposure to market downturns early in retirement. And that combination can quietly put pressure on your entire plan. Retiring earlier means less time contributing, more time withdrawing, and more exposure to market downturns early in retirement. And that combination can quietly put pressure on your entire plan. The second mistake is underestimating healthcare costs. This one surprises almost everyone, because during your working years, a lot of healthcare costs are partially hidden, covered by employers or spread out over time. But in retirement, you start to see the real numbers. Premiums, out-of-pocket costs, prescriptions, long-term care, they add up. And they don't just increase once, they tend to rise over time, which means healthcare isn't just a line item. It's one of the largest variables in your entire retirement plan, and yet it's one of the least planned for. The third mistake is relying on a single source of income. For many people, that's Social Security, and while Social Security is incredibly important, it was never designed to fully replace your income. When you rely on one source, you lose flexibility. You have fewer options if expenses change, fewer ways to adjust if markets fluctuate, and fewer levers to pull if something unexpected happens. Diversifying income, whether through investments, withdrawals, or other sources, creates stability. And stability becomes incredibly valuable in retirement. The fourth mistake is underestimating taxes. A lot of people assume that once they stop working, their taxes will drop significantly. And sometimes they do, but not always in the way people expect. If most of your savings are in tax-deferred accounts, every withdrawal is taxable, which means the way you take money out matters, the timing matters, the strategy matters, and without planning, you can easily end up paying more than necessary over time. And the fifth mistake is not having a clear withdrawal strategy. This is one of the most overlooked parts of retirement planning, because people spend decades focused on saving and investing, but very little time thinking about how to actually use that money. Do you take from one account first? Do you spread withdrawals evenly? Do you adjust based on market conditions? These decisions may seem small, but over time, they can have a significant impact on how long your money lasts. When you step back and look at all 5 of these mistakes, there's a common thread. Most people focus on getting to retirement, but not enough focus on living through it. And that shift, from accumulation to distribution, from saving to spending, from working to not working, is bigger than most people expect. It requires a different mindset, a different strategy, and a different kind of preparation. The good news is, these mistakes are avoidable, but only if you see them early enough, only if you understand how they work, and only if you're willing to adjust before it's too late. If you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement, or even just starting to think about it, these are exactly the kinds of things I wish I understood earlier. So if that's you, subscribe, and I'll walk you through what I wish I knew, so you can make smarter decisions now and avoid learning these lessons the hard way.